Thank you, folks. For those of you that just tuned out, I want to ask this question. Is the Patriot Act unpatriotic? David?
The question isn't, is it unpatriotic? That's completely open to interpretation anyway. And really, who gives a shit about what some lame country and western singer thinks? No. The question is whether it's unconstitutional, and the answer is yes.
Sunda!
The Patriot Act is definitely patriotic. It's fine. It's not going to affect, me or any of us unless your name is Ahmed, and if it is, you're probably up to something.
Greg!
I have a big problem with the surveillance provisions of the Patriot Act because it says very clearly right in the Constitution, if you want to go to your mosque to help plot the murder of thousands of civilians, you shouldn't have to whisper.
Jim!
I think the term unconstitutional is overused. If the U.S. Constitution is ever legitimately used to shield somebody involved in terrorism, then we should take it out of the Smithsonian and use it when we run out of toilet paper.
You're as fresh as paint. Dave, what do you think? How much freedom are you willing to give up for this?
Well,
any or none?
Okay, let me say this. I mean, let's keep the focus on what's truly important here, and
yes.
And that is if this disallows me to access internet porn, then seriously, you can lock up as many innocent Muslim Americans as you want, all right? I mean, really, who cares about them except a handful of uppity Jews, really? But, okay, when you come after an innocent white man's internet porn, then you're coming after Lady Liberty herself.
But that is
I agree with the ACLU. I think they really have their finger on the pulse of the nation. I mean, because when a bunch of savages fly a plane into your office building, the most important thing is that the charities and individuals that funded the attack are protected. I mean, that really is.
I think you're being sarcastic.
No.
All right.
You know what? I was pretty worried about the Patriot Act too, and I thought, man, I don't want the government looking into my computer and my medical records and my library records, and then I realized, right, I'm not plotting a terrorist attack against the United States. This should probably work out fine for me.
Yeah, but it's about abuse. It's about abusing it, and you mentioned slippery slope, and they've already tried to do a Patriot Act 2, or Patriot Act, whatever the sequel was called, Goes West, or, right. The Rise of the Machines, or whatever it was. But
Patriot Wedding.
Yeah. And that was, a lot more extreme, and they would have gotten away with it if people hadn't, not simply the ACLU, but people hadn't gone, wait. And then, and people more than just the ACLU have been examining and against the Patriot Act, so.
But, to me, the ACLU.
The grapes. Good?
The grapes are good.
Yeah.
I go for kind of a Roman emperor theme. A lot of people complained when I was eating the stupid cupcakes. But I just think that ultimately, the Patriot Act is so mild, from what I've read of it, it's the mildest thing in the world. All they want to do is be able to go online, not touch people's email, all these little wiretapping things, and it's like, at some point you have to give allowance to the fact that a guy, because we didn't get into that guy's computer, that's not why 9/11 happened, but it certainly, was one of the things that could have been, maybe possibly done something to help it. There's a lot of inept. Go ahead.
No, I'm sorry. Well, but that's not the only thing. The main change in the Patriot Act, and specifically this thing that we're talking about, that Section 215, whatever, the main change is that you used to have to show... Why would people laugh at that point?
Because
you actually knew Section 215.
Yeah. I'm a genius, Jim.
The crowd's like pulling that Section 215 on us. All right.
Well, you told me to mention it before. No. They're just the main change there is that before you were able to do this kind of surveillance on somebody, you had to have probable cause that they were actually terrorists or engaged in terrorist activity. Probable cause. Now you just have to go to a judge and say you think that they're relevant to a terrorist investigation, which means pretty much anybody could have their record searched. So that's what some people are freaking out about.
Sure.
Yeah, and they should be.
But that's only if you take the point of view like, okay, the danger of the government, which is obviously, at least the police states, is worse than the danger of something that actually happened. I mean, talk about a slippery slope. I could say, hey, since they blew up the World Trade Center, if we don't start changing things, the slippery slope is they'll blow up every building in the country. So, I mean, the slippery slope works two ways.
Tom, let me answer this by taking this pipe.
Okay.
I think this will help me get my point across. First of all, I forgot what my point is. I do enjoy this pipe.
It does look like it's a good point because of the pipe. But let me ask you this. Article 216, which is not Section 2, Section 215 is for the kids. I go with 216.
That's from the New England Patriot Act, and that's much different.
Well,
But that's what you were talking about. That's a specific thing.
Yeah, no,
there's a lot of other provisions in the
but they're all pretty mild
and things like that.
Relative to
you should really make that point clear because the Patriot Act is pretty expansive, and there's
it's expansive, but it's all child. I mean, the ACLU didn't complain about this whole expansive thing. There's one little thing is their only problem.
Plenty of people complained about.
But the ACLU did not. They had no. I was.
Why are you solely focused on 20 Jews? You know?
Because to me, they represent a lot of the problem on the left, I think. Now, the ACLU, the problem with them is their inherent dishonesty. I don't think they're that afraid to Patriot Act.
Their inherent dishonesty?
Yes.
What are you talking about?
Because what they're really afraid of is their growing irrelevance. The fact that the country has changed to a certain degree, and they won't acknowledge that.
They're more relevant now than they ever were.
Wait a second. When they were defending black voting rights and women's rights, they were relevant. But now that they're defending just child molesters and terrorists, they're not relevant
defending
anymore.
just child molesters and just terrorists.
No, they're also doing significant stuff. They're fighting to get midgets on police departments.
You're right.
And that's important. That's very important.
All right, folks, we'll be right back to this message.
A stellar.
All right. You know, folks, I'll be honest with you, people. New York City is opening the first public gay high school with taxpayer dollars. I don't know what this September. I think it's a good idea. I wouldn't want to clean the bathrooms. But, well, come on. You know how horny high school kids are. These kids will be mauling each other like it's a Dolce & Gabbana Christmas party. But I will say this. It's called Manolo Blahnik High School. Now, I don't know who that is, but I think it's a shoemaker from Sex and the City. People say, oh, it'll promote decadent sex. That's only the males. Decadent sex, the girls won't be doing that. They'll be too busy in woodshop. But guys are always going to be decadent sex. People don't understand this about gay guys. They're not more decadent than straight guys. They're just doing what we would do if we could get regular girls to act like that. We'd be on the piers, be in the booths, or glory holes, A's, we wouldn't care. That's how we'd be, ladies. So keep that in mind. But let's talk about, Kobe. We got to talk Kobe first. Kobe had the nerve, to show up at the Teen Choice Awards yesterday. Now, let me tell you something. He really did. And I didn't like his speech either. He said, I don't give teens a choice. All right, you want to go to it's one thing to go to the thing. That's a good one. You know it. Kobe couldn't have set me up better for that one. Now, since he started out lying, do you doubt everything he says in his defense, Jim? Or, you've been in a few pickles, let's face it.
I don't doubt him, actually, and I don't think he raped that girl, because I feel when your team wins 3 out of 4 championships, legally, you should just be able to stick it wherever you like.
You know what? What do you guys think about that? Obviously, Jim's kidding, because he's a New Yorker. How dare you say that about L.A., anything positive like that, about the stupid Lakers. But do you guys have any opinion on this Kobe thing, or are you just going to see where
something, it just always seems to be on the woman. Well, she visited the room, and, she knows what to expect. No, we all know the rumor about the black man, so. She wanted to see for herself? Is that what they're saying?
Well, but the truth is, from a guy's perspective.
12 inches.
You take a legend like... I'm just going to pretend that's sort of about me, and maybe they'll cut it right. No, but from a guy's perspective, if you're at the hotel, let's say once in a while I've been at the hotel, the legend's been around for years, I'm not Kobe Bryant, but I give you credit. Girl goes, oh, my friend will call me, hey, let's go out to this club with this girl downstairs wants to come off work, she's hot. Then she shows up, and now what do you want to do? Just talk about my MTV days? At a certain point, that's no reason to rape somebody. But let's be realistic. What girl? I'm just saying, why does she think Kobe Bryant, world travel or whatever the hell he is, wants to hang out with her?
First of all, I think that if anyone wants to talk about your MTV days, that is a reason to rape somebody. But I don't think. Why are people shocked that he lied? It's the same thing with Clinton when he started out lying. Why didn't he tell the truth from the start? Of course you start out lying. You're not just going to admit it. It's like my mother always said, in a relationship, you have to tell the truth once you know for sure they have DNA evidence. That's a true story. My mother really said that.
She was ahead of her time.
Yeah, she was a very bright woman.
They're actually saying that there's possible, the prosecution is saying there's some evidence now of anal sex.
Yes.
And I just feel that, as big as he is, that this woman deserves a round of applause just for not being in a wheelchair.
How do you know how big he is?
But that's the whole point. But that's what everybody's saying. Now, this is the interesting question. If let's say you're having sex, doggy style, right? And then suddenly the guy decides he's going to
It's a mistake. That's what guys say. It was a mistake. I didn't know it was going to slip.
But if he does do that, then is that rape? I think it is.
Well, this whole gay thing is...
That's rape.
What gay thing?
What are you talking about? You have sex and it just slips in the other? That's
How
not
can
rape.
it
That's
slip?
not a slip.
It doesn't
Stupid.
slip.
That's what I'm saying.
You guys are just too much with that.
Yeah, you guys are crazy.
You guys. You never slipped, right? He's a
I
nice
agree with
guy.
you bastards. What's going on?
People are
Bottom line-
asking, will Kobe get a fair trial? Yeah, he's going to get a fair trial. This is not To Kill a Mockingbird. I mean, everybody's getting...
Thank you.
It's going to be fair. From what I heard, that they're going to plead down from rape to a hand job with a mean stare.
Well, okay, let's talk about the gay high school. With all the information that's coming out, the gay high school, is this segregation? Because a lot of, like, they said, like, 100, like, Puerto Rican ministers and some upstate guy that's, like, we're you know, conservative are all protesting this high school, saying that it's, you know, it's segregation.
Well, I thought we already had a gay high school, the School for Performing Arts. But I guess...
I thought we
need
had one
another
too.
one.
It's
Yeah, we
called
need
Catholic
one
school.
for gay kids with no talent. Apparently, we need a whole separate school for that.
There you go.
Well,
it can't
you
be
know
that
the
rough.
deal,
They can,
folks.
they
We
can
amuse
kick
you with
ass.
our banter. You got to watch the messages. We'll be right back. Okay, you know, whenever we're starting to feel good about our little production here, we log on to the Tough Crowd message boards to get some humility. Occasionally, we like to respond to your venom on air. And to help me out today is Greg Giraldo. Hi, Greg.
Hi, Colin.
The posts that drive me crazy are from the anonymous jackasses who think we suck and that they ought to be on the panel to show us how it's done. Oh, yeah? Well, a few weeks ago, we contacted about a dozen message board braggarts and offered them to come on this show live and read their posts. Most of these spineless jellyfish did not respond. We're talking right in the area. Only two had the balls to write back, and one of them had the balls to show up. Please welcome Azam. He's gonna read his real post that was on the...
Is anyone else tired of Colin Quinn not being funny? Am I the only one who wanted someone tonight to throw hot coffee in Colin's face for that terrible potato joke? Can we roll that clip, please?
This is a true story. It's not a joke at all. I went to a topless bar the other night. It rained and my potato got soggy. Oh, well, I certainly can't argue with that, but I don't appreciate the fact that you're obviously a young man and, you know, you don't understand the levels that I'm working at with the irreverence and the deconstruction of that joke. I understand that too, but you're probably more at home like cackling over Stickler, getting like an American Pie in his balls on American Wedding 3, or whatever the hell it is.
Stifler.
Stifler. Well, I don't know, you know. But I work on a lot of levels, and you're talking about one level, and I'd like to take you to that one level and kick you down the three flights. But listen to me. Okay, we'll get back to that. Greg, none of the people who slammed you online wanted to do it in person, including this one. Maybe he's heard about your Latin temper. Here's your next message. He's a typical vendido Hispanic when it's convenient, constantly struggling to gain the acceptance of Anglo-Americans. We don't need any more self-loathing coconuts that just make our tribe weak.
Well, aren't you a sanctimonious little prick? You were invited on the show to confront me in person, but you declined. I guess you're too busy squeezing into your sister's panties and grinding against your Mario Lopez poster. Honestly, your little piece of predictable, regurgitated drivel is more disappointing than insulting. I'd like to think that as Hispanics in America, we've moved beyond your limited worldview. It's sad that there are still mongrels like you who complain about racism and stereotyping, but then call a person a sellout when he doesn't fit the stereotype. By the way, you really showed pride in your heritage by misspelling the only Spanish word in your post. Finally, I am not a coconut. I am a human being. Coconuts are brown, hairy balls like the ones on your chin every night. I don't know.
All right. Good one.
Felt good.
Pablo Neruda Cervantes would be proud of you.
Wow. Yeah.
Okay.
That the same guy? Was that the same guy?
No, Pablo Neruda, comma. Cervantes, comma, Gabriel Garcia Marquez. All right, look. This is about as funny as my potato joke, apparently. But another message board brat wrote something about me after I said hip-hop shouldn't be taught at Harvard. So we're going to bring them out, and they're going to do the same. Oh, you again. We're not making this up. It really is him both times. He really hates my guts. Okay, ready? Let's hear your little...
Hip-hop is not a fad. This isn't disco, Colin. And wake up, because it's not the summer of '86. Maybe your old ass would enjoy some crappy music by Billy Idol, Boy George, or maybe Van Galen. But the rest of us don't. So keep your trap shut and watch some more VH1.
Look at his playing.
I like this kid.
Oh, yeah, no, he's got spirit. But he's dead wrong. See, here's the problem with you, son. You grew up in a time when people just say, and you honestly want hip-hop. You want Harvard, this hallowed institution where aggravating comedy writers come out of. All these kids. But do you want the professor to actually sit there and be like, start a class, okay, bitches ain't nothing but tricks and hoes. And with those words, Dr. Dre and Snoop ushered in a whole new genre. I mean, let's face the facts. Hip-hop belongs where it belongs, with you in the goddamn Bronx, not in Harvard. Listen, he's from the Bronx. He's from Gun Hill. The show's almost over. So log in and get to work, you craven, anonymous, backstabbing cowards. We'll be right back. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah, honey, I said it. So what's the problem? As we mentioned earlier, New York will open the country's first gay high school. This will provide an important educational experiment and a theater department we can all be proud of. If you could design a high school for one group of kids, what would it be and what classes would you teach? Greg?
I would open a school just for kids who plan on bringing a gun to class and shooting everybody. I'd try to help them overcome the abuse they got in their other schools. There'd be tough love lectures like, I'm not going to lie to you, you'll never get laid with that acne and that Dungeons and Dragons pouch tied to your belt. No matter how much creepy poetry you send to the head cheerleader. But don't despair. Just use the time you're not having fun to work hard and get rich. Then move to L.A., buy a Porsche and a big bag of Coke, and you'll be ball deep in silicone before you can say Lord of the Rings.
All right. Sunda.
No, I think I would design a high school for really, really stupid girls. Because there's a lot out there. And I would teach them things like a tattoo on your breast of his name is forever. He's not going to pay you back. And finally, if you get a nipple ring for him, nobody's going to know because you're wearing a shirt.
All right. Jim Norton.
Along the same lines as Sunda, I think I would open a school, and the students I'd like to most help would be the cheerleaders because I fear you're incredibly misunderstood. First of all, I'd like you to know that those skirts you wear are a badge of honor, and you shouldn't spoil them with things like bras and panties. And that little powder you saw me sprinkling into your drink is nothing to be concerned about. Those little desires you have to put your head in your teacher's lap and make slurpy noises are perfectly normal. And lastly, it's okay to keep secrets from mommy and daddy. And to all you consummate worrywarts, yes, technically you're still a virgin if you're only giving me the balloon nut.
Okay. David.
I would create a school just for jocks and future frat boys. And oh, wait, I guess that's kind of like a latent version of the gay school. All right, then. Okay. Then I would create a school just for bullies. Teach them how to be nurturing and sensitive. Nah, that would never work. Oh, wait. Better yet, how about a school just for pussies? Yeah. Teach them to kill with their bare hands.
All right. I'm not saying this goodbye. I'm just going to say, I'm going to say goodnight. And maybe we'll, I don't know, do we have a best of ready? Anything?